Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper Survivorland, and I definitely remember to turn on the background lighting. The problem is, I can't start the background lighting early because it's got a 4-hour timer to it. So I got to try to start it exactly when the stream starts. So I didn't do that today. So we did it a little late. It's fine. Also, so how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Yeah, 2 streams in a row. We are back. We skipped this the week before. We couldn't skip it today. We gotta have Great Ace Attorney. We gotta find out how we beat Dracula, the prosecutor. I have to have a sip of something. Oh, absolutely, the tooth is still hurting. It's a tooth that got chipped a ways back, and it was doing okay for a while, and now it's not. So I either need to see a dentist or see a dentist. But I'll manage. It's not bad right now. It's a general ache, as opposed to last night, which was a very active pain. Yeah, you know. So, yeah, we left off having basically lost, but we're invoking an ancient rite of a summation examination to basically be our last ditch effort. That's it. That's all we got. We already lost, so this is hopefully going to help us. Or we could give up here. But I don't think that's going to be the right answer. Objection! Yes, exactly. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord. Objection! I don't remember if I added his to it. I think I did. You did? What voice did he have? London is the capital of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standard of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried. Objection! But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial. The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Well, not. There was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. Yes. Yeah, that seems to be the whole point, yeah. This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before. Hey, Birdie, how's it going? 75. Jeez, 75 months. How's it going? Glad to be back. Things are going well, you know, adjusting to the move. Congrats on the carp.
75 holy shit months. Hey Viper, glad to see you back on. How is everything going?
Hope you've been doing well in the past week. Yeah, it's just kind of been adjusting, setting up, you know, all the goodies. Still so much, you can see all of the bins in the background that still have it, and that's only half of them that haven't been unpacked, but you know, whatever. It's fine. It's all good. Otherwise, doing pretty well. Hope you're doing well as well. And obviously, thank you for 75 months tier 3. Jeez. Huge, massive, impressive, crazy. All the good stuff. Hope you're doing well. I don't really hold with all this justifying lark. It seems to have thrown the jurors off. Seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then. The summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around. So be it then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious crime. So I guess we're going to have to try to counter their assumptions here? Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers, with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap next to him, just like this. Why do you have a knife as a juror? Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can't trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. Or you can trust the guild. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor, it beggars belief. So he didn't stab him on the floor? Started to wish I hadn't pushed through this now. Some of the jurors didn't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo.
They did it, Viper. They freaking actually did it, and by it you ask?
What is it? 8-player deck builder battle royale. Wow. What? Cool, but also what? Alright. 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 Interesting. Interesting. I'd at least watch a trailer for that, yeah. I don't know if I'd play it. That sounds nuts, though. Genius. Cool idea. Hopefully it works out for them. Hopefully they make a hell of a game. Also, hey Ark, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? Thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Yeah, I missed all the game shows today because I woke up, had some lunch, went to the Pokemon Community Day, chilled, and then it was time for stream. Like, time flies. Also, I sleep late, so, you know, bit of A, bit of B. Unfortunately. Also, hey Grim, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything that the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusion by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Ah, that's true. Is the dueling done on motorcycles? Then what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. What do you mean? Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. Alright, I'm gonna give this a go. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can, we then contrast the statements, and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see, so it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradictions in their statements, and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Can we start proceedings, Counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Aha. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. Okay. So we can press, we can pit, we can history. So I guess we're supposed to press them. Unless we lose points for it. Certainly, the testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilded were alone inside the carriage. Precisely my point. But, could there be some other explanation? Something we haven't considered yet? Such as? Perhaps that's something we could, all work out together now? Now listen here. Maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes. But we're here to form our opinions as individuals, and I have. Oh dear, he doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternative point of view, does he? Now, I'm going to have to pit the jurors against one another, like Susato-san said. Finding contradictions in these 6 people's assertions is the only way I'm going to succeed. Yeah, I don't think they're going to penalize me for the, first attempt at it. But does his ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is? I manage all his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts. I see. A single penny can mean the difference between life and death after all, can't it? That's a saying in your country? The point is, a man who minds his figures is a man you can trust. Those of us in service would swear to that, sir. Does the bench really need any more polishing? So if the good driver says that he saw Mr. McGilded in the act, I don't doubt him. And the task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish. Ah, now wait a minute. One of the other jurors mentioned something about money, I think. That would be a very good time to listen carefully to the jurors' statements again, Mr. Naruhodo. If you notice an inconsistency in what the 2 different jurors are saying, you should dispose it by pitting them against each other. Yes, let's see if I can do just that. Why does he have a knife? Careful, you could hurt somebody with that. You're a fine one to talk. What is that sword hanging from your waist, huh? No, that's just my battered soul. Well, anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same, all stabbing some brickmaker or other behind the scenes. You mark my words. It seems very unlikely, doesn't it? Are you mad, man? We know that small shorty is a rotten Shylock. Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but... Mr. Naruhodo, please, be careful what you say. He's been trying to squeeze money out of us, the less fortunate, and as far as I'm concerned... This is guilty as sin. The man can hang. I've been in a little trouble there, dude. He's too strong for his own good. Come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhanded activities? If you thought of something, Mr. Naruhodo, don't let it go. Test your theory. The 2 jurors whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. Instead of Excalibur. No time like the present, use Triangle to pit them against each other, or I'll never get anywhere.
Hold it!
What have you been doing all this time? What have you been doing all this time? Then, you should have thought it was obvious. I'm recording everything that takes place as part of these proceedings. And what have you learned from that? For example, at this moment in time, the judge has used his gavel 11 times in total. The prosecution has snorted derisively at your remarks 7 times in total. And I might add, each time you have gawped like a simpleton. Thank you. And what's the point exactly? So anyway, madam, are you able to explain why you think the defendant is guilty? That is a conclusion I've drawn as a result of the copious notes I've typed. Clearly, but I'm asking you to explain why you've drawn that conclusion. Please don't distract me. It makes it extremely hard to concentrate on my note-keeping. This is going nowhere.
Hold it!
That's how much it costs to take the omnibus? That's right. As the guildmaster, I decided to set a policy for all drivers across the city. One fare, no matter which bus you take or how far you're going. We have to compete with the rise of the motor car, you see. Us coachmen have to make a stand together. Motor cars, you said. Yes, and this murder on one of our buses is extremely damaging to our cause. It's beyond the pale. It will lead to a decline in passengers, you mark my words, and it's all that rascal's fault. He has to pay. Crime or his buses he's more worried about. Anyway, every member of my guild is reliable and trustworthy. So if the driver says he saw him do it, that fellow in the dock is as guilty as sin.
Hold it!
I really think you should stop waving that needle around. You heard what the good coachman said before, didn't you? The hideous man stabbed the poor fellow just like this. Yes, that is what he said. You're right. Gilded Park is such a lovely little place, too. Always enjoyed resting my legs there while I get on with my knitting. I had thought that anyone who donated such a delightful place must be a fine fellow indeed. I mean, they are both swinging around sharp implements. Suppose I was wrong. Whoever would have thought he was a miserable, murdering moneylender with not a scrap of remorse? Oh hell. It sure can be that he's guilty now. The lady certainly seems to know her mind, doesn't she? So, I just need to find two jurors with contradictory statements and pit them against each other. Just so much easier said than done. Is that perhaps what you were just thinking? How did you know? Well, took the liberty of doing some research in case you happen to find yourself in just such a situation. Shall I read you what I found out? It's a little long, I'm afraid. Yeah, sure. Very well. Listen to this. During the summation examination, you will hear the assertions of the 6 members of the jury. In this situation, the counsel for the defense should use triangle and pit with impunity. Having done so, you will be able to compare the chosen assertion with those of the other jurors. Select the corresponding buttons to listen to the other jurors' assertions again. Note that you cannot choose the assertion of the juror you initially selected, nor can you choose assertions of jurors who have changed their leanings to not guilty already. Once you've compared the various jurors' assertions, work out which two contradictions contradict each other, and then pit them together with triangle to pull them apart. I see. She wasn't joking when she said it was long. First step is to listen very carefully to what each individual juror has to say. We did that. I'm sure you'll start to see which ones might not quite agree with each other. Can't find it? No worries. It'll pop up. I'm sure Steam is just going to recommend it to me. Alright then, let's get this right now. I'll never have to listen to that long and boring explanation again. That's the spirit. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Objection!
You two. The dramatic angle on the point. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? We're on Silverblaze's maiden name. I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus in the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beepo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right. I have these precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is. A fair and convenient single price, just the way London's carriages should be operated. That doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, doesn't add up. The figures are different. But 4 pence, in fact. Precisely 1 person's fare. 1 person's fare? Yes. In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible. There was the wind-up on that point, holy crap. There was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Good gracious. Ooh, fancy camera tricks. Couldn't do this on no DS. This can't be right. The coachman of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword. The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy. I beg your pardon. Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. News that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus. Alright then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end? magic book with all the answers. Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side of the set of scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go in? Wait till I get my hands on you, Bebo. Oh, hell yeah. Scales shift ever so slightly. Ugh, this is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Hell yeah. Alright. Things are looking better. The love of Mike! Not you as well. And he can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witness again. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo, you did it! We can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds. We can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. There's something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. And that's where you must strike next. We need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions. Exactly! You can do it. I mean, maybe, hopefully. Well, scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. Okay, so... it's gotta be him... her. He's saying stabbed next to her. She's saying stabbed on the floor. So that's at least 2 different things.
Objection!
Those 2 statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, Counsel. Post haste. Oh, dearie me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What's all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? I've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What? What? Can't you say I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Want to test me, do you? It's like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up, just like the prim banker said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do you for, young man? Would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it. It was like this! He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Don't move! Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. Never! They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Bless my stitches, what a muddle. What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh. Why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet. What I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. Can't abide people telling lies. Scales. I don't believe it. Wait. Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. I could use magic. Do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, dark jinx. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What if 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of the event? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again. This old lady saw him do it. Well, What's to say it didn't happen like that, huh? You're calling it dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. You're calling it old? Why, I should take this needle to you. Ready to kill each other now. Could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? Oh, crap. It's true. There's an outside chance of almost anything you could have... I should have said the other one. I didn't know it was going to... Like... I didn't mean to hit it. Exactly the point I've been trying to make. Before you go any further, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, what is it, Miss Susato? I think you should have a look through the court record. It would be great, wouldn't it? Ah, you see, this evidence makes it quite clear, does it? We'll stab wound to the abdomen. Oh. I mean... yeah. There isn't even an outside chance of what the juror is saying. How did I miss that? Fortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it! You're suggesting it's impossible. It's out of the question. How did I miss it, crazy? I know. What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So, where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me some proof. Looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is presenting him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime is proven by me saving the game. Out of fear. Gotta be this one. Not save scumming, just protecting my butt. You know. Okay, yeah. We've heard this one before. Okay, yep. I don't think we had anything else here. No, okay. Not gonna go through that whole one again. It's gotta be the picture. Or, a piece of evidence. Well, Mr. Crapzilla. You know what they say about me, young man. They say I've got no powers of persuasion. I see. Sorry to hear that. But no one will need persuading about this. You're even worse than me. Two different moments. In other words, the victim was stabbed 2 times. Ah, we have evidence. Okay. Possibility, yeah, never mind. You allow me another chance. I'd like to present you one more piece of evidence to consider. Yep. Literally looked at it. Literally looked at it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. This is the victim's autopsy. Oh man, I haven't unpacked my papers yet. Quiet. Look at these. These are not the same papers, but they're papers, so you know. Cool. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once! It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely 1 time. And I can't get over that wind-up, which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times. Alright. I can see defeat. Where did the knife go? Cool. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leading to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won! Well, we've won the right to continue the trial, I believe. What are you playing at, you dainty fool? Set your trap, sir. No one deceives me. But we had a consensus. I said, shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. Also, Ramen, how's it going? Welcome to Viper in the chat. Why? I mean, I don't hate his character or anything, but like, why specifically cosplay him? And if the chaps ever dare to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Okay. Ah, the papers, you're right. I have the papers. Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue. Hell yeah. Suck it, Dracula. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Van Zykes, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please. This lad. No hurry. It's fine. Take your time. Oh. Wasn't that a very important glass? Oh. Yeah, that was a hollowed chalice. Having savored the rich aroma of the karma and contents of this hollowed chalice. It may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zykes! Is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to this charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No. Why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Ah, no cape. Bring forth the witness once more. Okay. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure. Oh man, if that doesn't happen at some point in this game, I'll be shocked. Yes, sir, that I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh, yes, this is sir, I heard it. You, sir, on the end, the coachman. I believe it's Beppo? I keep calling him Beepo, but Beepo. Yes, sir. My lord, sir. It transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a 5th passenger in your omnibus. You will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh mio Dio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passengers tonight. I swear it, but well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddled us on the fare, he did it. Then I saw the blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I tell you, I saw me gilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so. Yes. Alright. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little croissant. Vivo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The Guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging your passengers by a penny's fare? Man, this is a super unlucky dude. His mustache is an upside-down horseshoe, and he has an upside-down horseshoe on his cloak. That's just unlucky compounded. It's so cold in the last one of the day, so it's half empty. You've been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Bevo. A disgrace! Your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild. If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. What? 4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but it just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense. Cross-examination, if you please. You've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely. Yeah. What? You expect me to not just give up? Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Hold it!
Yeah, we already know this one, but still. So, there are only 4 passengers in your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare. Is that right? It's impossible to make the last one of the day pay. It was so cold. It was all I could do to stop myself from passing out. Getting chilblains just listening to you. It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have had another suspect.
Hold it!
Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir. And I just told you that I did. Flat fare, 5 pence across the board. Something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. But the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead, and buried. I'd been happy if it had ever existed in the first place.
Hold it!
It's blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Good gracious, really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That would turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker tent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, and that's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Now I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. That's gotta be unfortunate.
Hold it!
So, you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who's sitting next to him. That's what I said, isn't it? It was bothering me before, this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. He's constantly playing with a knife then. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that was the only two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as yet zero evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was.
Hold it!
Yeah, he's very sure of everything. Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor. Described the assailant holding the knife as an ice pick grip. These definitely aren't really important papers that are my temporary ID until my actual ID comes in. It's fine, don't worry about it. Totally not important. Totally okay. I suppose I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was... the famous man, yes. So in short... See, he's got too many papers, I only got the two. I can't, they're important papers, I need these. You didn't see the moment where the victim was actually stabbed at all. You can't just toss them about. I really thought that I did, but when I go over to get in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I? Look at this man. Man, they have so much fun with their animations.
Excuse me!
Excuse me? Sir? You seem to be in some form of duress. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Are you asking me or telling me? I'm getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Some days are like that. No chance. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight at the top of an omnibus, that is. Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if it's getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. I can do that, alright. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Grim, you were there. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man?
Hold it!
Blood-soaked. Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight. Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. And there was a lamp on inside the carriage as well, so I'm quite sure of what I saw. This banker's latest statement. That loud buzzer noise is incorrect, sir. Feel sure there's something not quite right about it. When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record. Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow, we managed to keep our chances alive here. Can't waste this cross-examination, have to use it to bring some new facts to light. If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful, as they did before. Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering important new information. Yes, you're so right. Need to pay very careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses. Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, like chewing their cane, don't hesitate to pursue them as to the reason.
Objection!
Blood-soaked hands? Well, I admit that soaked might be laying on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there, but as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. Oh, jeez, dude. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Yeah, but no, that can't be right. You're the liar here, then. Yeah. It must be. That cane must look worse than like a 5th grader's pencil. Just gonna let him struggle for a minute while I have some tea. That's right, you were clear about it. You said it was both hands. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth? And I'm on a tangent. No, I was just drinking tea. Objection! It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was both hands. It was only one. But the fact remains, it wasn't both hands. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. Yeah, nobody's more trustworthy than bankers. Gentlemen, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding member of society doesn't prevaricate. He's claiming to have no reason to lie, but is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, we could turn the tides in this trial completely. We can show this man has compelling reason to lie in his testimony. Like that one, maybe? Probably. My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense is ready to present evidence. Joe, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. PC game show? No worries. It'll show up somewhere. I mean, you clearly imagined an interesting game. Very well. I hereby call upon the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
This is the list of the debtors who owed money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. Point is, among the names in these debtors is your name. Okay. Mr. Bruce Fairplay. What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw, in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Poor Cain. Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again. Be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this, says the man gnawing at his cane. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch? It makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood in McGilded's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And yet only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. So you keep saying. I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir. Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? And he's dead. It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Can I make myself perfectly clear? Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at least. Yes, I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Witness testimony. What the witnesses really saw. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself. Nope, not until I heard the scream. Anyway, fact remains. There can't have been anyone else inside the carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold. Truth or fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside the carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there's no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Right.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw, and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw, but why? Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers.
Hold it!
Dead Cells peeps? Oh, nice. Very nice. Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. But we're crying out loud. We all know that no one else could have possibly done it. It's just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Did you hope to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? Well, that's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the Derby, that's all. I was gonna win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend that's a sure thing. Little guinea or 10? Banker, no one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. That's illegal. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work?
Hold it!
You definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands. Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. One of Mr. McGilded's gloves had any signs of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves. That's correct, sir, and I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. True that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands. Wasn't blood on his hands? This is puzzling indeed. Cyclist character? Yeah. Everyone in this game would fit kind of nicely in Yakuza. Must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything.
Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
I know you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it?
No, sir, I saw nothing at all.
Mr. Bevo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London Street, no? Showcase was nice, okay. Yeah, they gotta try to keep that PR going. There we go. Oh, please. You didn't even see that?
It was so cold that night, you see, it was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say, sir.
It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Bevo!
Hold it!
Everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night. The glass wasn't frosted over. Yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Well, why not? Locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right. It's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not why what I call fair play. I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down yawningly into the warm cabin below. Well, I can assure you, I wasn't just looking out. I was glaring long and hard. That's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else in that cabin, it would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? I want to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight on the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, it's a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? My golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. The possibility cannot be denied. At the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. In the wood. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? I mean, if you're sitting here, and looking there, anybody could be here.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the floor face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, as passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one in which the victim and his attackers were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Man, give that guy a blanket or something, he's so cold. It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In the British court of law, evidence is paramount. Do not entertain this conjuncture, Consul. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't think we can put a name to it. Oh, damn it. I don't know if we have... I don't know if we have something that would show a name. I don't know. Who could have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof of the deck? I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. How did you... Where did... You are a fool. The response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. That night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was...
Take that!
Passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, Consul? That's the name of the defendant. Yeah, I mean, that's why we're trying to say he couldn't have done it, you know. Hold on one second. Did he really just... Oh, man. Oh yeah, let me just get a holy chalice, set up some flame chandeliers behind myself, and cast off quality wine in said chalice into the flames. Yeah, okay. Get right on that. You know, for accuracy. Desecrate this chamber by smashing my hollow chalice. Do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zykes, where did you get a second holy chalice? People talk of these tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. I see they use their terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? You calling me an idiot? Are you racist? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might, yeah, it's heavily racist, might understand. The bloody scene unfolded. The victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It is the very premise by which this case is built. Excuse me.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, Consul? It's a good question. The defendant's gloves, my lord. This one takes a little longer than the good old-fashioned. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, the testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. The victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? I don't know, obviously. The true culprit. Extraordinary. Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. Witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused. No, none of them said they could see his face. The assumption was that the accused was sitting there.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said, the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. Tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I couldn't see the rest of them, though. I could see. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? No, I'm afraid I don't remember. You call yourself a hatter. The style of hat makes no difference. There's no third passenger in that cabin. Can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless that is, you're proposing an even more preposterous explanation? That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. He's right. There was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. It's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order! There's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, Consul? Prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, you have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGild is no uneducated ruffian. It indeed turns out the man has been withholding information. You be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, did we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? If he's hiding something, maybe he's guilty of lying but not murder. So, yeah. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. Something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say, oh yes, that would be lovely. I feel like he just keeps getting it stuck, but yeah, that, or as Grim said earlier, the Legend of Excalibur starts here. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Well, show the defendant to the stand at once. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defendant. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Begad, no, 'tis not my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all to keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? Fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true.
Aye, it was me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You...
What?
Well... No, Magnus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now. Truly sorry, so I am. Lord Van Dykes. Sure, you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was... Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who is this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. Prosecution calls for the witnesses' statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Garrison isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Ah, smoke! Nah, fire! There's a fire! Look, someone's trying to get away! It's no use. I can't say anything through all this smoke. What's going on? Careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. Well, that's, something. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. What was oh, what is that this track? We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Alright. To be continued. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't try to do that last time. The game showed. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, we would have gone over by a lot if we tried to do this last time. I'm glad we had stopped it where it was. Through Discord. Hell yeah, I'll go check that after this. Do they time the typing sounds to the music? 18th February, 12:52 p.m., the Old Bailey's Defendant's Antechamber. What's just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Susato. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. Smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. Just making sure everyone is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? Police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. Young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? Thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. He was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions. Oh, of course. Just to go over there, not over here, not answering any more questions. Fine. Along with a young girl. Who is she, I wonder? What was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? Another matter that's troubling me. What's that? 20 pence. Hmm? Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beepo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. Now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. It is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed to the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go on straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. No soon enough, Mr. Sato. Yes. It's time. Oh. Time for what? 15th February, 1 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. It's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord. Believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It's an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded? I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why it is that this wee lass here was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. It's all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You'll explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. As the fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up in the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There's a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? It's exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. No idea where to start. We'll be fine. Young girl.
Hold it!
When you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? Were not. The cabin was empty. There was no one on the roof deck either. You're the first passenger, as it were. I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Can you explain exactly what you mean by that? By the back seat? By all means. 'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable, and where I feel most at ease. Of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Hold it!
Loud thud, you say, and a scream. Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. Do you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. When the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor. You didn't see anyone. At the same moment, you did hear a scream. Ah, from the seat above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes.
Hold it!
You set him up? The victim, you mean? But I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? It's common courtesy, so it is. And a little hard to believe. Lord Von Zykes! Now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabin. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle of trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? It's alive. No, I was always intended to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. And we scream, I heard, for example. Also, hey, Seven, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing tonight? Hope you've had a good weekend. Hope you're doing well. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing.
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except for yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. Excuse me. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. In our auto, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. It would be a very good time to have a thorough look around. We did, but sure. Let's go take a look again. I remember finding that, too. But, you know, I'm assuming this is in case I didn't do it earlier, but whatever. Yep. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? He says, alright. Yep, there you go. Totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Alright. I don't think there's anything else to find in here, though. And that's when I found her.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself. Ah, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overacting this, huh? Still and all, I pulled her from under there, and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her. Seat opposite. That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, gentlemen in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, needed to find out just who this urchin was, as you see. While I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting in the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Hi, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. Certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature. Readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. After that, of course... Cool. With the screams from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here, a petty thief. Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Oh. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. Oh, gracious, how? What's the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. Gina's best girl. This dirty little diaper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught in the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on. That's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Oh, in Mia's voice. Why, does he show up in every single case from here on out? I'm gonna doom myself forever? I could do it, but am I committing myself to pain? Embrace the Welsh. I wish I could do a Welsh accent. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheel drags. Nice, ain't it? I like the pink best.
Do not wave that thing in my direction again.
Where does he keep pulling those? So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. It's alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. Court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. Without shooting anyone, you will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. Yeah, right, he's the only one not shot yet. The problem is, he would just turn into a cloud of bats and the grenade would go straight through him. It makes him hard to hit. So I stuck inside the carriage where they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I tell you, can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang, and it jumped out of my skin, I did. The scream just came out. Because of that, the swell found me. He did help me to get away, mind. Yes, he let you go. I don't understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis the simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where it was sat that night. In the cubbyhole in which you have spoken, underneath this seat, I presume. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. But of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I'd parked myself in the seat for the duration. So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your actions would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought, worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. Damn. Alright. Okay. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. I mean, you arrived at the wrong truth last time, but we'll let it pass because you're working towards our favor now. It's alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty. Mr. Naruhodo, this, well, it must mean what? That we're victorious. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
What is this guy? If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. People don't listen to me. Dracula. Evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion. Witness's last statement gives us clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It is noted in black and white here in the police report. Good Lord! The evidence has been tampered with in order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's stories. Someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. And he's dead again. He's just dead. He's not even getting up. Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Consul? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary, the cops, in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nepalese friend. Huh? Me? The carriage was submitted as evidence. Doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Crap, it did have stuff in it when we looked at it first. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse for the desperate Lord Von Zakes. Well, Consul, do you have something to say in this matter? Crap. How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? It wasn't empty when we looked. The whole point of these games is to find the truth. We're not trying to win, we're trying to ascertain the truth, which always concludes that we win. But they force you to look a second time. Yep. That makes sense. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as a counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least, when I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. You sure, Consul? Ara, be whist. What are you saying now, you daft daw? I thought you were on my side here. We have to be on the side of the truth. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? Also, Crescent, how's it going? The attorneying is going... It's going. We just got most of the jury on our side, but I think we just blew it, so, you know, that's fine. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I am still not entirely sure where I stand, but it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. It's not altogether pleasant, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad. Now then. Fella's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Why? Do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. The compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Repo, isn't that irresponsible? That money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Crap. Crap.
Ugh.
Can't believe I was nearly taken in. Stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, a lot of them.
What? Oh no.
It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. Crap. No, I refuse to believe that stating the truth is the wrong answer in this. Quite so, I must concur here. I refuse to believe. Except for the fact that we're in trouble. We're definitely in trouble. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. You've changed... yeah, yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. Very much. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty this time would be wholly inappropriate. So would a verdict of guilty, though. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, it is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Alright, well, sure this will be fine.
Hold it!
So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run. Well, yeah, I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it? Suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 in which the cabmen testified. And one little scapegoat grease riding for free. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before its last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right? Your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I'll chuck all that out and cram it in the corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. Yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived on the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. Seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
Hold it!
Waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own, and the god permit at least some of the time. Beg your pardon? Yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. Point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. That's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night. This Gove was sitting on me on my seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. You mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin. Yeah, right, mister? To be sure, to be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. I mean, she's supposed to be British. Like, we are in London now, canonically. So, not sure how they would do it in Japanese. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Mr. Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. Never saw Japanese text. Oh, gotcha.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all. Not a jot. Most days I push a cushion up with my head and look out of the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. Thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I got under it ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason, that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. For that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown into the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Hobson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I think there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. Also casual Japanese, just some characters in more katakana. Okay. Cool.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. You let out a scream, involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. Pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. That's just Mr. McGildude's account, of course. And then the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. Sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. Could never have risked looking.
Hold it!
When Mr. McGildude discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. Scared stiff I was, he dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. How awful. Both me hands got covered in blood, made me feel sick as a dog. Both our hands covered in blood. Must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGildude for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name, and what I was up to, and that. And I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. It's Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." Oh, wait, what was that? All six members of the jury decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. Clear that they all are still very unsure. We could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony. Maybe we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. I have this nagging feeling. Something's bothering me. I just can't quite put my finger on it. What was the one where... No, still not helpful. No, she didn't end up taking that.
Hold it!
What's this one again? Yeah, weird name for it, whatever.
Hold it! Well, no.
Oh, well.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Consul? Just wondering if Mr. Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see, yes. I'm sure we can all sympathize. So scared of the dark now. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Mr. Lestrade. Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Jabbers! There's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something. He might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? It's profoundly important. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important part. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What? Supermint? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time? Excuse me. Since the moment you hit yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. Then, when I saw this swill getting on, I got my head down so I didn't notice me. Mr. McGilded sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? You Adam and Eve it, what a mug. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. I just had to stay put and listen to him driving. As pigs to market, snoring like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Doesn't add up. Miss Lestrade, what you've just told the court. It's clearly at odds with the facts. At odds? Are you sure, man? Yes, would you Adam and Eve it? Absolutely. Seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zykes realized it too. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think. Double slap. There's something else she should have heard. We'll go with person. My lord, allow me to elaborate. A particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. Sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Big question mark. Yep. Now we've got Adam and Eve. Thrice fired Mason. Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear. Oh, the camera too! Is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. The wind-up and the camera rotation. Too powerful. Too powerful. Ordar! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. That it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So, you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at the time. Could I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? With a crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. Anyway, I put the papers down. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. Exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? Waiting for the swell to leave. Oh yeah. Again, these are not the old papers. These are definitely very important new papers that, once I unpack the old papers, will be replaced, but these work for now. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Ah! Yeah, I have to unpack the old papers. I mean, I could get new papers in general, but like, I packed away the old ones. It's fine. We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zykes. Yes, he knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. Real life important papers, yeah, of course. It seemed words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have been boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. This girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. No, not Granny. No!
Damn it, Granny. I trusted you. I believed.
She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, can't abide liars. Neither can I. Mr. Foreman, I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But now that somebody else has jumped the gun, I can be as preconceived as I want to be and not seem that way. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. Yeah, I could be anyone's defense lawyer. It's just, don't worry about winning. Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Where does he keep getting cups from? Who keeps providing this man goblets? Holy chalices. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern almond? Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know, can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. Migoda's innocence. Judge will rule and will have lost. Very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
The witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light in this whole case. What are you saying?
Counsel.
Sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate your attempt to prorogue my education. Explain yourself at once. When the accursed boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness on the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Gotta be that. It has to be. Clearly, he was in there already from beforehand.
Objection!
Oh, my learned friend, what was the function of that clearly in your last statement? Well said, Lord Van Sykes. The clearly is troubling me also. No! It's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been in the carriage from beforehand. And answer me this. By beforehand, to what specific point in time are you referring? Well, clearly, What? No! Okay. Well, the penalty is evidently not heavy enough, judging from those Nipponese eyes, so I ask you again. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed. My learned friend, what was the function of that obviously in your last... Oh my god, am I that bad? Well said, Lord Van Sykes. The obviously is troubling me also. No, that's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards. Answer me this. How could a cadaver have been placed inside a moving carriage? Damn it. Well, obviously. Okay. There's only one thing left it could be. think I have the answer, guys. I also think saving might be a potentially good idea. I mean, it could be anything, but thankfully my intuition seems to be guiding me towards the true answer. So I think I've got it. On my first try, I think I can see through the lies to the truth of this case. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. How do I... Okay, well, as soon as I have an opportunity to screw it up, I'll do so. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. As soon as I have an option, I'll... Oh, load the save? Yeah, I can do that. Hold on. Yes, yes, yes. Load. There we go. No, it's fine.
Fishing.
Okay, I know they shut me down for it last time, but there's a voice in my head really just screaming, telling me that he was there already. So I'm sticking to my guns. Sorry, Ark, you got nothing. Hey, he got one pity gold though.
Objection.
Well, okay. So maybe he wasn't in there from beforehand, but that's okay because my gut, my intuition, these 5,000 Viper points in my vision tell me that he was placed there after he died. It's very important that it's definitely how it happened. It is inconceivable that it happened any other way. It has to be that he was put there after he died. That's the only way. The defensive attorney's been paid off to fail. Yep. Yeah. See? It checks out. Thank you, Consul. That will do. I've seen enough. According to the powers vested in me by Her Majesty the Queen, I declare no further examination necessary. As such, I shall be requesting the final decision of the members of the jury. Are you all ready, Mr. Foreman? Certainly, my lord. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will announce your findings to the court in turn, please.
Guilty.
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 Well. I hereby find the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, guilty. I thank the good ladies and gentlemen of the jury for their swift and insightful contemplation. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Fishing.
Well, so I resume a saved game. Alright, good luck on the fishing out there. Maybe you'll reel in something this time. Oh hey, a smash orb. Hell yeah. Okay, there's another entrance. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. Behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. I'm fishing at because chat just ignored them in favor of fishing. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If I were a VTuber, and I had enough of a following to get people to always be fishing, the smart thing to do would be to take it off of channel points and put it on like bits or donations. Then you win regardless. Make it 100 bits for a poll. Then it doesn't matter if they're ignoring it. Who cares? Also, that's like, I don't know. Harm the fishing addiction for money. Yeah, exactly. Always knew the VTuber fans had a gambling addiction. It's those damn gotcha games. We could find a way to make that work in our favor, though. We could be rich. Filthy, stinking rich. I mean, to be fair, I also have it set up that way on mine, but in addition to points. So you can just use points too. Only one side of the only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. In short, there's no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Fishing.
Speaking of fishing, good luck, Crescent. May you catch something nice. What is it? But there could be. There's only one possibility you haven't. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Compliance. You got a comment. Compliance. Yeah, something new. There's one possibility you haven't considered. All right. So what is this? Oh, cool. It's letting us know that soon we will know something. Cool. I'm excited for PoE 2, but that's not subtle. Oh, really? Yes, really. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, Counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. I don't, no idea. Here's the omnibus in which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance for which you propose the victim enter the cabin? I mean, to end up here, or the floor, the only way you can enter is if that opens, or if you could, like, slide him under there. The Doomslayer. Honestly, he was found on the floor. So it's gotta be that. It's gotta be. The answer is obvious. It could only have been the skylight. Say, the skylight.
Objection.
His fur cloak. Oh man. Gotta watch that later. Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection.
all you need is one, Sor. All you need is one. The skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection.
So you claim, but do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? Both Mr. Gilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. Who's going 7th? Good luck on the fishing. Hope you catch something nice. They each claim to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor.
Fish.
Hey! You fished up a fishing snake. Your fishing is fishing. Awesome. Now, unfortunately, the fishing snake is a really bad fisherman, because it's me, so there's nothing on the end of that line. You only caught the fishing snake, but yeah. I didn't. Why would I remember to do that, Sora? Why would I possibly remember to do that? I also didn't have any time to play any of the Alan Wake DLC yet, so I really need to do that. I want to do that. Yes, which has already been explained. It's the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from his seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as witnesses described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection.
You're now suggesting the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. Ah, okay. Yeah. And yet not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded! To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight.
Fishing.
But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Good luck on the next cast. Hi. It's a case of them being unable to say. Yeah, you got the worst thing, crab. Sorry. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof. Why is my knife still stuck in this desk? How could I have thrust this knife so hard in the desk that I myself cannot remove it? You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? You rotter, he said. You rotter, what are you insinuating? This is a flaming outrage. I'll have a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. I'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said. And so will I. Mr. Fairplay, you're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. A mad hatter, you might say, suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... Yeah, that poor typewriter. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel. Look at it go. Order! This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Sykes. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. Seems, young Eponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British Court of Laws, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know it's rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but if you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What do we waste time for? Get them to
Testify.
Thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. There's filth and rubbish in our midst. We must dispose of it at once. Alright. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? Spectators in the public gallery are in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought on by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. It's no time to think this through. All I can do, keep pushing forward. You'd think, but it's one of those self-healing desks, it'll be fine. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that. If anything had happened, we were sitting. Don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us knew the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. You're so sure the victim fell through the skylight. Where's your proof? Well, I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. Now, either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck, without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see, and there's no way we could have worked together, because... There's no way we could have worked together. Obviously. We're innocent, I tell you. Though logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another. What? According to investigations by Scotland Yard, two witnesses share no common dealings. Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. Trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense, over to you. Cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Alright. Just because once before they did penalize us for investigating, save again.
Hold it!
So, at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck. Absolutely not. Dickin! No question about it, he said. None at all. No, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here. This is true, Mr. McGilded. Dear me, my lord. At the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. It's an outright lie. Without doubt, you were engaged in... Let me stop you there, fellow, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? At all? Yeah. It's all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. Yeah, I saw you with my own eyes. This is going so well. Isn't it just?
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of a lark? Is some kind of a joke, he said. Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly. Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible to tell you. I'll give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fellow. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. And now, 'twas a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising. Seeing things! I believe we've reached an impasse here on this particular point. You! Don't take it personally now, lad. I'm a suspect in this case, and 'tis only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before. Keep forgetting my green light is there, so if I hold this up right around here, it's like, ah, yes, darkness. Oh, Lumen, no, not once, never! Never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either. That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. And he was wearing a hat. So... no, I imagine not. See, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who are inside the cabin. Well, yeah, that is a lie, because...
Excuse me.
yeah. Mr. McGilded? Yes, Consul, what can I be doing you for? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now? I wonder. What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay, it has been too long, it has. I'm not very much mistaken. I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another. And young Mr. First. With me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers such as thrice-fired Mason. There's a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord. This, you mean? Can't help thinking that poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? That's what's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it seemed the brickmaker was a customer of yours. So the customer I'd wager you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. No, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It would be right to say that that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case.
You little weasel!
Funny thing to call someone a weasel and then gnaw on your cane. But you know, whatever. He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please, don't let my little interruption hold up the proceedings. Hey! For having identified the millennial responsible for the victim's hat in episode 3, the great... Oh! We found out who made the hat. Cool. We got a trophy. Look at him go. Look at him go.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? The skylight was shut the entire time. I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on! You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on that night. So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break through it still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand. Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just meant to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as a rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? No, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame. Well, yeah, it can't be opened from the inside. Fine.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade! It opens. Huh? The skylight. That's what we're talking about, right? You're just gonna let this happen. All them skylights open. Dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon? A lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from inside your mug. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags, and I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out my ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the form to be eulogizing the subject of your criminal activities. Words, what even are they? Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't knock off the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used the skylight, opened the cache, and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck. Wait a minute. Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims. I mean, we could see the latch when we last... Okay, it's fine. You can see it there. Oh, my head. See? Order, order, order! So, it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens. From the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo. This could be the clue we've been looking for. What? Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Should I? No, that's the wrong. Oops.
Fishing.
Good luck on the fishing sword. Yep, doesn't open from in here. That's fine. That's womp 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 womp. So the skylight was fastened shut before. Now the catch has been undone. I should be able to open it. Hey, a barracuda. Nice. It certainly seems inside the carriage for this opening, that's for sure. Yes, it's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. Okay. Ah. Oh no, that's okay, that's not what... We might have to go view it from the inside. Fine, whatever. Okay. Back to the inside we go then. What do we have here? Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? Oh, what is it? Look, just here. Look at this. That's, without question, blood. Why would there be a bloodstain there? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Details of the omnibus have been updated. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I mean, I have to press him just to see what he said. Nah, do you know what? Screw you. There's our proof. Suck it. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof. You're in this courtroom. Counsel? My lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? I mean, okay. Point out proves the victim fell the roof deck from the skylight. I mean, it's fine. Is that one?
Got it!
Jupiter, is that blood? This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime.
No.
Order!
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to the one particular spot in the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient. Duh. And let's keep it in mind, the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself would have been unable to open it now, wouldn't I? But well, there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gem really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? It's all too plain. If you see, there's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height right there. So it is. What? No. But lies!
Hold it!
My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can, yes, sir. Clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? Just as easily as I pull this dagger out of this desk. I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing. Yeah, sure. On three then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
Chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, now what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zykes? Blood stain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage, at least not until this trial began. But you're suggesting, Lord Van Zykes, that this stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes, and while this court has been in session. What? He's dead again. Just gone. Dead forever. Eh, what a pulver. I have to say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Sykes. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I'm well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? Did he drink that whole iron? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. But, Lord Van Sykes, this will not do, to be sure. Will it now, Consul? Oh, no! I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. Blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say. But, if yous will all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom this entire time? How could anyone possibly put a smear on it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, Consul? True. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter. In your own words. Damn it. The truth is, it could have been fabricated. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think... God damn it. I have to go with the truth. I have to go with the truth. These games have always been the truth above everything. Finding the truth. I can't do a bold-faced lie. Also, hey Ponce, how's it going? You have missed an animation or two from our good Dracula. Yeah, he is. Ooh boy, he is something. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh. Good gracious. Yeah, he's done a few, yeah, explain yourself, Counsel. Yeah, he literally lifts his foot up and puts it on the desk. Yes, there it is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everybody still remembers clearly. The recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. That's it. Courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos... Oh, the camera's twisting even more now. Go nuts, cameraman. Go nuts. It could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. 2 full rotations? Oh, you spoil us. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless gouger? But feckless gouger is supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. Facts are the same. After this courtroom, we evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade. A number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies, such as, to start with, the storage compartment under the rear passenger seat. The police investigated the omnibus. This compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zeeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. Yeah, I thought evidence was everything. Dracula bitch. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I don't know. I haven't given it the best once over after that. Let's go take another look. I looked at the things they told me to look at. The same, I think. Don't think the sign changed. I don't think anything underneath. Yes, it's inside. So we know that's empty now. Man, I don't know. I don't remember if that was there originally. Blood. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ah. Crap. It does look fresher, too. Well, I'm gonna save it before I blunder into something else stupid. Damn it. I hate having to use the truth. We could have won. I have an inkling. Lord? Yes, Consul. There's one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'd better start watching your back.
Objection!
We could have won. Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. I'll keep swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I'll have to ask you to elaborate, Consul. What exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial?
Got it!
We consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin. You would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this blood stain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. Good Lord! Yes, I do believe you're correct, Consul. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility the evidence is fake. Well, this trial is over. But Mr. McGilded, I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but it is all over now. But you're the defendant. It's over, I tell ye. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw. It is all a nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there now. Well, over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. That's factual. He hasn't proved dick. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zykes. Well, my lord, I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zykes, what is your position? Prosecution, my lord. There's no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes. Which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome? That's my phone blinking. Outcome. Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Also for the defense, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defense believes... I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. What are you saying, man? We're gonna break home. Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me! Honestly, if we just keep teasing him like this, he might just spell it all out for us. Order! Order! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer, calling the accused innocence into question. Are you of sound mind? Oh, 'twas a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was. A grand decision. What? I must say, didn't expect quite such an excellent spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Good job here is done, fella. It's some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? 'Tis just as the right honorable gentleman so succinctly put it afore. Trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. Well, Crapzilla. I really don't know what to make of all this. Is the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinking rich are always guilty of something.
Mark, my words.
I'm terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park. The man is cackling evilly in front of you right now? Yeah, well, she seems innocent. Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I'm compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby announce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zykes, my lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. Wow, it doesn't fall on us for once? Holy crap, I don't know what to do with this. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
Wait! When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zykes ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. That's so unfair! The culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to prefer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zykes, it's been a pleasure, so it has. As for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. You mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilded. Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you? Just one thing, a warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. Well, this is great. Hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded, not guilty. I'd say yay, but it's more of a... Oh, fireworks! Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody's cheering that one. Excuse me. Can't believe it. This is an outrage. I should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. Courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. My first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for us. Yeah. Well, it's as much as it was kind of fun in Phoenix Wright to after the second game know they were not guilty. It's kind of nice not knowing. You are set to defend this person. They say they didn't do it. You have to trust them. Date today? 18th February, 5:14 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. It certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. First ever trial in foreign soil and your first victory. It's a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Miss Susato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. Trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who is actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGilded. Ah, and that girl is with him, too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? The 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. Heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure, it was. I have you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your... You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Ah, 'tis a water under the bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. But nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Hi. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. Yeah, sure. Absolute faith in them, so I have, after all. I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. You know, I know what song we're starting the next stream of this off with. It's definitely going to be Aerosmith's Eat the Rich. 100%. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Ah, be whist, you're a humble people, are ye? You from the east? Well, if you insist. But have this. Still in all, you deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir, if you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. Hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. Just if I could be present for it myself. Going to examine it again? Now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. The gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes. A free man. Oh, she was here too. Uh-oh. Crap! I'm just gonna let her do it, you fool! Don't move! Whereas, I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry? I hate all grown-ups. Oh, there you are. We have the power of steampunk at our side. Naughty, naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who is this little girl now? And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Huh. No, Oh. Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Excuse me, but who are you?
It's ramen.
It's ramen. Well, good day to you. I'm the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The worst not guilty, yes. Feels bad. The inventor. Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. We have to be shrouded in smoke. It can at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Yeah, that's 100% Nutili air protagonist. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though, at all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing into a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. What's it what? I have no idea what this girl's talking about. Anyway, come in with me now, back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you this before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh good, you see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. I'm sure that's what she wants to do is not get shot by that massive gun of yours. We'll be leaving now then, bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. It was a lively one. Yeah, clearly. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right. But where to? Oh. We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings, but at this rate, at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of a gilded park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, doesn't sound agreeable. I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guinea would have paid for a lovely warm room or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness from the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. The case was far from over. Oh. Ah, anime.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick!
Oh no, all the
How did this
evidence.
happen? I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating.
Oh. Oh.
No. Oh, good God.
You could run to open it, or you could stand there.
This can't be.
Just gonna stare? Just gonna stare. You're all just gonna stare at someone burning alive. You're all monsters. Nobody even tried. Alright, well, end. The Realm of the Reaper. Alright. I mean, we hear his voice in the objection, so we get that. Yes, we were the monsters all along. Alright. It's a little early again, but that's just such a good ending spot. Oh, you're right. They might have hurt their handsies on the metal handle. Oh no, they might have singed their coats. Terrible, terrible. I understand now perfectly why they would just leave someone to die. Definitely. Yeah. How would they possibly get them out? Ah, yeah, the wine would work. That definitely wouldn't make it flare up. I'm saying, yes, there's definitely a way they could have done it. Somebody could have kicked the door, somebody could have broken the window more, somebody could have taken any blunt instrument that any one of those police officers had and tried to hack a bit of the door away so maybe somebody could get out easier. I'm saying that nobody tried anything. If a bunch of people tried and failed, that would be a different thing. No, it definitely opens outward, but I'm saying they all collectively tried nothing. Somebody could have, I don't know, anything. Anything if they attempted it. Hell, if one of the cops ran up and tried to piss out the fire, I'd at least give him credit for trying. Didn't do that. Did nothing. Nothing. It was actually entirely made of wood. Yes, well, and glass. A little bit of glass. Mostly wood, though. Just saying, they could have tried. Could have tried. They didn't. They all went, oh man, that sucks. Glad it ain't me. That's it. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. Been a good time. Glad to be back to this. I want to say tomorrow is going to be Overlord Unicorn. I know we have to do Grand Blue at some point. What day works for people for Grand Blue? I know Tuesday, Wednesday doesn't work because D&D for me and Potts respectively. Does Thursday or Friday, either of those days? Oh, Friday's going to be... Well, Friday's going to start with Bochi opening. But we all know that's not going to take 4 hours at all. So it could still work Friday. It wasn't blowing up. It was just engulfed in flames. Flames are not an explosion. Neither for Thursday. Okay. So Friday or Monday seem to be the days. We could also Saturday. Saturday is a possibility too. Is Saturday a possibility? What is this upcoming Saturday? Why do I have a feeling I have something? No, it's not this Saturday. It's next Friday. We have something. I don't know if we're doing SR for Grand Blue. It's a new fight, right? Does it have new music? We can figure it out in the Discord regardless. Healed his face. Yeah, but he came into view after a bunch of people had already found the thing. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. But, you know, the lack of attempt to save a human life just stuck out to me. But I seem to be outnumbered, clearly. Yeah. But now we got ourselves a monster, a quote, a Discord. Oh man, Hitchhiker's Guide, that was a night. And a...
He might actually be dead.
And a timely...
By fire be purged!
Feel like those two. Good for Friday? Okay, so tentatively Friday, I'll start with Bochi, but that should only take like a half hour or so, and then go. If things change, that's fine. Who knows? But tentatively, that sounds like a good plan. So yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's about what we're saying. Obviously, we got the big heck and shout outs to Birdie for the big heck and resubscription. That was what, 75 months? 75 months tier 3. Hot diggity damn. And yeah, everyone hanging out, tuning in, hopefully having a good time. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. This has been Viper of Viperland, and I'll see you all next time. And once again, no music on our ending screen. That's how we do. Peak is always no music.